Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Hamas is calling for greater international pressure on Israel before agreeing to the next phase of the U.S.-brokered Gaza ceasefire. Hamas says Israel must open key border crossings, halt military strikes and home demolitions, and allow for more humanitarian aid into the besieged territory. Palestinian health officials report since the ceasefire took effect, October 10th, Israel's killed at least 376 Palestinians. Meanwhile, Israel continues to bar international journalists from independently entering Gaza after the country's top court on Tuesday delayed a legal challenge seeking to overturn the media restrictions. Meanwhile, UNICEF says 9,300 children in Gaza were treated for severe acute malnutrition in October when the first phase of the ceasefire deal came into effect. This is UNICEF spokesperson Tess Ingram.
Mothers cannot afford to buy their children the nutritious food that's available in the markets. Fruits and vegetables, which are now here, remain very expensive, and animal products like dairy and meat even more so. For example, a UNICEF market survey done in November found that meat still on average costs about US $20 a kilo. So most families can't access this, and that's why we're still seeing high rates of malnutrition.
In news from Yemen, forces backed by the United Arab Emirates have claimed control of the oil-rich southern half of Yemen, including the city of Aden. Analysts say the military advance could result in renewed fighting between UAE and Saudi-backed groups, as well as southern Yemen possibly becoming an independent country again. President Trump's publicly pressing Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to accept a peace deal, saying Ukraine is, quote, losing the war with Russia. In an interview with Politico, Trump also said it was time for Ukraine to hold elections. Zelensky responded by saying Ukraine could soon be ready for long-delayed elections if the U.S. ensures security. In Oslo, Norway, the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to the right-wing Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, but she did not attend the ceremony. Her daughter accepted the prize on her behalf. Ahead of the ceremony, Machado said she was heading to Oslo but would not arrive in time for the event. She's been in hiding for the past year. On Tuesday night, hundreds of protesters marched in Oslo to condemn the selection of Machado, who supported Trump's threats against the Venezuelan government. In October, she dedicated the Peace Prize to President Trump. In related news, 2 U.S. F-18 fighter jets entered Venezuelan airspace for 40 minutes Tuesday as the U.S. escalates its threats against the Maduro government. The jets circled the Gulf of Venezuela near the city of Maracaibo. Meanwhile, the American Civil Liberties Union and the Center for Constitutional Rights have sued the Trump administration, seeking the release of the secret legal memo that's been used to justify the U.S. campaign targeting alleged drug boats in the Caribbean and the Pacific. The U.S. has struck at least 22 boats, killing 87 civilians since September. On Tuesday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth gave a classified briefing to members of Congress, but he refused to commit to show lawmakers a full, unedited video of a September 2nd strike on 2 shipwrecked men who'd survived an earlier U.S. strike that killed 9 about 40 minutes before. Honduran President Xiomara Castro has accused President Trump of interfering with Honduras's recent election and said a, quote, electoral coup is occurring. Honduran election officials are still processing ballots from the November 30th election after numerous delays. The Trump-backed candidate, Nasri Asfura, has a narrow lead over Salvador Nasrallah, who's also alleged fraud. President Xiomara Castro spoke Tuesday.
In this election, the people were subjected to coercion, blackmail, extortion, tricks, fraud, and the manipulation of the preliminary results transmission system. These threats are a direct attack on the popular will.
At a rally in Pennsylvania Tuesday, President Trump again attacked Democratic Congressmember Ilhan Omar in a racist, expletive-filled rant while calling for more immigration from Northern European nations.
And I say, why is it we only take people from whole countries, right? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? Let us have a few. From Denmark, do you mind sending us a few people? Send us some nice people. Ilhan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with the little turban. I love her. She comes in, does nothing but bitch. She married her brother to get in. Therefore, she's here illegally. She should get the hell out. Throw her the hell out. She does nothing but complain.
During the speech, President Trump also called concerns over affordability a hoax. In response, Democratic Congressmember Ilhan Omar posted on social media, quote, "Trump's obsession with me is beyond weird. He needs serious help. Since he has no economic policies to tout, he's resorting to regurgitating bigoted lies instead. He continues to be a national embarrassment." Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis signed an executive order Monday declaring the Council on American Islamic Relations, CAIR, a foreign terrorist organization. The move follows a similar declaration issued last month by Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott. Like in Texas, the Florida executive order also designates the Muslim Brotherhood a foreign terrorist organization. This is Imran Ghani, director of CAIR's Houston chapter.
So these two governors are fomenting anti-Muslim hate, bigotry, and these accusations are totally conspiracy-based and done to stoke fear of Muslims. From a human perspective, it continues to make Muslims, who are part of the cultural fabric of American society, it others us. Muslims have been around for hundreds of years.
Texas's Republican Governor Greg Abbott announced Texas will be partnering with Turning Point USA to establish chapters of the right-wing youth organization launched by the late Charlie Kirk in every high school in Texas. Governor Abbott said, quote, "Let me be clear, any school that stands in the way of a Club America program in their school should be reported immediately to the Texas Education Agency," unquote. Turning Point USA's high school chapters are called Club America. The move follows similar efforts by state officials in Oklahoma and Florida to establish Turning Point USA chapters in high schools. Australia's officially banned children under the age of 16 from using social media apps in the country starting today. The apps banned include Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, X, YouTube, Reddit, Twitch, and Kick. Platforms will need to deactivate accounts for users under 16 and stop them from making accounts or face fines up to $33 million. Amnesty International said in a statement, quote, "Many young people will no doubt find ways to avoid the restrictions. A ban simply means they will continue to be exposed to the same harms, but in secret, leaving them at even greater risk," they said. One student's dead and another was in critical condition after a shooting at Kentucky State University Tuesday. Officials say a suspect who's not a student at the school is in custody after the incident. According to the Gun Violence Archive, there have been 387 mass shootings in the United States so far this year. The Trump administration announced it's reached an agreement with several Republican-led states to end former President Biden's student loan repayment program. The program, called SAVE, which stands for Saving on a Valuable Education, is an income-driven repayment program which currently has more than 7 million borrowers. In a statement, the Education Department said it plans to stop all new enrollments under the plan, deny any pending applications, and transition borrowers into other repayment plans. Natalie Abrams, president of the Student Debt Crisis Center, said, quote, "Borrowers need real relief and stability, not a return to unaffordable, costly student loan payments that push them closer to financial crisis," unquote. A federal judge has ruled Tufts University PhD student Remesa Öztürk can resume teaching and conducting research. In March, the Turkish-born student was abducted by masked immigration agents near Boston and the Tufts campus and then sent to an ICE jail in Louisiana where she was held for 6 weeks. She'd been targeted for co-writing a student article on Gaza in the student paper. Up until now, she had not been able to teach or do research because the Trump administration had revoked her visa. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker signed bills aimed to prevent federal immigration agents from making arrests near courthouses, hospitals, or colleges. Another new law will also make it easier for people to sue federal agents if their constitutional rights have been violated. Meanwhile, a coalition of civil and immigrant rights groups are calling for the immediate closure of an ICE jail at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. The groups allege detained immigrants have been beaten and sexually abused while being denied adequate medical care and food. President Trump's former personal lawyer, Alina Habba, who was installed as U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, has resigned after a panel of federal judges ruled she was serving in her position unlawfully. Attorney General Pam Bondi said Habba would remain at the Justice Department to serve as a senior advisor. In election news, voters in Miami, Florida have elected a Democratic mayor for the first time in nearly 30 years. In a stunning upset, former County Commissioner Eileen Higgins received about 59% of the vote, defeating Republican Emilio Gonzalez, who'd been endorsed by Trump. Eileen Higgins will become Miami's first female mayor. In another setback for Republicans in Georgia, Democrat Eric Gissler flipped a state house seat in a district Trump won by double digits last year. And New York City Comptroller Brad Landers launching a primary challenge against Democratic Congressmember Dan Goldman. The congressional district covers the southern part of Manhattan and parts of Brooklyn. New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani endorsed Lander, saying, quote, "He's been a trusted ally and partner of mine. I'm proud to support him, as I know he'll continue delivering for those who need government to show up for them the most," Mamdani said. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. And for more of our audience-supported journalism, go to democracynow.org, where you can download our news app, sign up for our newsletter, subscribe to the daily podcast, and so much more.